English language, history of the English language, history of the English language and literature का यूनिट 2 पर है। यूनिट 2 का 2.21 conditioning influence. One of the ways in which language influences our life is by conditioning our life approaches, ways of behavior, and notions of either to conditioning process start from the moment of birth and continuous you until the last breath. The linguistic and sociologist, for example, Friedrich success and Leland Brown agree and condition that language influence is not a one-way process. We also influence the language as we live. This helps us understand and explain why and how ideas such as politeness, crime, responsibility change over time in linguistics. The conditioning influence of language is discussed by Edward Sapir and Benjamin Lee. Their postulate is known as the Spear-Whorf hypothesis. If is realized into forms strong various languages determined throughout weak various language influence throughout wholeness. Notice that the belief in the power of language capable of determining human throughout its linguistic determines he future observes it states that once incapable of understanding a concept for which the language has no name. It also implies that there is no thought without language. It links back to our initial observation about our instance to labels and classify. On the other hand, the weak various suggest that we create our own words in difference. Why therefore the notion of cultural diversity with a strong link to language, what it means in the world of warfare. In Holland, We cut natural up, organize it into concepts, escape signification as we do largely because we are practice to an agreement to organize it in this way. An argument that holds throughout speech community as is codified in the patterns of our language. This phenomenon is called as linguistic relativity. Relativity, the common denominator of this hypothesis is the bearing language has on our life, the conditioning throughout language manifest in my way. It marks the use available a set of labels to make sense of the words. For example, it is said that is the Eskimo community. There are 50 words for ice in a few tribal communities. 3 are for feathers. The peoples living in coastal areas have several labels referring to the sea. So what it could be? The question hovering in our mind to elucidate and let use. Take the example of a travel community to how 3 are for feathers. We can infer that 3 will be perceived although great differently from others in this community. Problem 3 might not be treated as a resource provided for use. They have a distinct identity and personality. This way of perceiving 3 by labeling them as for fathers also help to perceive 3 are by extensive the environment. New let's take the contract example of a child born and raised in an urban area. The surrounding include shops and plenty of civic providers to this child. The message of life could be to able comfort in place of many, so many and earning more and more money could be tends on schooling and hard academic work, English language learning. It is to cut a long story short, the language available in the immediate surrounding condition humans why and action and needless to say it has implication for the bird and remote physical world. Social and cultural organization. Social and cultural organization. Language enable social and cultural organization by influencing human thought and impedes active. In other words, there is the imagination of social and cultural system, the network of relationship being for an individual, family, relative, community, and finally broad society is made possible through the verb of labels. For example, take the terms we have for expressing our relationship, parents, broad, sharing, neighbors, in it is on these terms indicate and some others practice particular behaviors and action which is also encoded in language. This led to considering the notice of culture. It is a well-known idea that only humans have a coded culture that is really the interest of traditional custom and conversation based. It is only humans why are capable of cartooning symbol as a symbol might be broadly meaning anything that stand for or represent something else. So the best example of a symbol is human language. We have labels or words to represent things. For instance, the term pen is a symbol for the object used for writing. The association between the symbol pen and the activity of writing or being literature is determined by the use of members of the community.